Looks like we're
All right.
on LinkedIn Live. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Kathryn and I were just thinking we have not been together on LinkedIn Live in a while, and here you have the original dynamic duo. And Kathryn, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about finding what sometimes I call the lurking major gift potential right there in your donor base, in your
Okay.
database, I should
Yeah.
say.
So everybody just strap on your seatbelts because we have a lot to say and we're only going to be about 10 or 15 minutes. But just know that you have lots of major gift potential. You even may be a small organization with a small donor file, but you still have lots of major gift potential. Why is that, Kathryn?
Because everyone does. I mean, seriously, I will say this, Gail, we have done, I can't even count, lost count of how many donor search, wealth, or prospect screenings that we've done for clients over the years.
Yeah.
And we have never seen a screening come back without major gift potential. So you have it.
And so guess what? Everybody who's got board members or other leaders in your organization who are saying, we need more donors. We can't find our major gift prospects. What are we going to do? We need more donors. How many times have we heard that, Kathryn?
It's so too endless. I mean, it's just endless. We hear it all the time. Every people will call up and say our board wants to find new donors, or our donors are tired. That's a whole nother LinkedIn Live on donor fatigue. So we'll park that for a moment. But yes, I mean, it's not about new donors. It's about taking care of the lovely people who already believe in your mission and who have major gift potential, but probably haven't been asked, haven't been nurtured, and have no idea, here's one drum roll, that you need it.
Ooh, they have no idea you need it. And
Mm-mm.
also, lots of times these small donors are sitting in your donor files or getting your annual appeals, and you don't, and they're being treated like small donors
Mhm.
and everyday donors. And they think, well, this institution, I'm anonymous. They don't know me. I was reading an article today, Catherine, that said that one of the keys to donor returning to give more is that they feel seen and
Mhm.
known by the institution,
Mhm.
seen,
That
known. And so that's why major gift officers, and you're probably listening, we hope you are assigned to develop relationships with key people who can yield wonderful investments and provide revenue, badly needed revenue in this day and age.
True, very true. So, Gail, do we want to start with a little bit about the screening, just
Let's do
briefly?
what happens when you have the wealth screening. How many times have we heard, what do I do with all this data?
hmm
I've
Well,
got
let
data
me,
overload. What do I do? Right, Catherine?
yeah, so I'll give you one hint, depending on the screening service. Do not look for who owns a boat or an airplane, not helpful. So, really, two things. There are two, regardless of which screening service. And again, we are master account holders with Donor Search, so that's our the company that we work closely with. But the two things that you're really looking for are two things. One is capacity. Okay, the donor has to have some demonstrated capacity through demonstrated philanthropy or some wealth markers potentially. And the second thing is affinity. And so most of the screening services and donor search creates the RFM score. Even now, many of your CRMs also give you some type of code or some type of rating or score would be probably a better term for what the affinity of your donor has. Affinity just means loyalty. They've been giving for many years. They're current, again, not new donors, current donors. Year over year, and they have some magnitude in their giving. So this is something you're looking, two things, those two things. Once you check those two boxes, we're ready to move on.
Capacity and engagement, or
Mhm.
capacity, and what's the other word you use?
Affinity. But engagement's a good word too, because that's another thing. Some CRMs give you an engagement score. Regardless of which score you've got, that's all you need.
So you've got all this data. You can easily pull out certain segments of prospects who fit those two criteria that
Mhm.
Catherine has just outlined. They have capacity and they have demonstrated interest.
Mhm. Exactly. Because I'll give you a little scenario. Let's say you have you have a person with the capacity of, say, $1 million in low affinity, and you have another person that says capacity is, say, $100,000 and high affinity. Here's a little secret. You prioritize the 100,000 with high affinity over the other one in terms of where you're spending your time. Doesn't mean you don't get back to the $1 million person, but that person is going to take a little bit more time because you need to generally build that affinity, which is something you can do something about. So.
But what Kathryn's saying, if you've got a person who's rated or giving at a lower level than your multi-million dollar prospect, but they're showing a lot of activity and a lot of interest, they're going to be more likely donors, especially for the short run, right, Kathryn?
Correct. And this, what Gail and I are talking about now, kind of this prioritization scheme, if you will, leads to how to manage your own, whether you call it a portfolio or whether you just call it a list, either one, words interchangeable, managing that. Because again, the thing that you have the least, or the thing in your capacity that is completely fixed is the amount of time that you have to spend on this. So you need to maximize all this. And how do you maximize the time that you're spending? By what I call fishing in the right pond. So you prioritize your most available donors, those that check the boxes before first. And so you work that prioritization. So always work your highest and best first and go down the list from there.
And so when I sent out the email this morning, I talked about the simple ways to manage your portfolio without getting lost in the weeds. Is this the simple way that you're suggesting, Kathryn?
Very much so. I mean, you really look at that top group, that people who respond to you are in cultivation or solicitation, that you'll be probably having a lovely gift conversation with in the near term. Those are the people you want to spend the most amount of your time with. Again, planned and well thought out time, but that time is well spent. You work down from there, people that maybe you need to get to know a little more, go work a little further. They're also a priority, but they're next on the rung, so to speak. And then, of course, we can't forget qualification, which is really critical to building your portfolio or your list of donors. And let's talk about that for just a minute, because this is an area that confuses everybody. And that is that we've determined from our research that we have a lovely, what we will call a suspect, someone that we think might be a major gift donor. But you have to qualify them. This is the domain of the major gift officer, and you only can qualify that donor by having a conversation with them. It is looking at,
you cannot do analysis. You have to ask the donor questions to find out how interested they are, and they will tell you.
They will. That's the thing, Gail. They absolutely will tell you. And these are very easy questions. Donor will tell you. If they tell you they're not a major gift, they're not going to make a major gift to your organization. Their priorities are somewhere else. You could ask them if there's anything you could, anything that might potentially raise your organization as a priority, that donor, or you could just say thank you very much and let it go for now. Again, keep in mind you can revisit later, and you move on. Because that, again, that precious time that the major gift officer has to get through a portfolio of donors, to move people forward towards gift conversations. And so you're closing gifts and raising money for your organization and your mission that's in the world. That has to be your priority, and that activity has to be organized and prioritized.
And everybody, I'm going to pause here for a brief commercial from your sponsor. Heather and I are going to be doing, or we're going to be doing LinkedIn Lives for the next, 6 weeks, every Wednesday. So you can tune in and put on your calendar to tune in, and we're going to talk about real challenges that people face in major gift fundraising, whether they're a real major gift officer hired with a portfolio or whether they're a smaller organization. So the reason we're sending all this wonderful information to you is that we are launching our brand new Major Gift Boot Camp, Major Gift Officer Training Boot Camp. And it's designed for one person, and it's priced just for one person. It's different from our Major Gifts Intensive that we won in the spring, and that is for a whole team, and it's more complex. This particular training, Kathryn, we are dealing with the skill set that a major gift officer needs to close gifts, right?
Right, 100%. And the great thing too is, and I'll just give this brief little plug, is
You're
that
excited about this.
Yeah, I am very excited about this. So, is that the faculty for our program, for this particular program, will be our consulting team. So the very people that work every day with our lovely clients on many of the same issues, coach our major gift officers that we're working with, coach our campaigns, all of this work, they will be bringing great stories from the field. And what we love to say is this: the beauty of working with us is this: We provide you with knowledge and actionable steps that you can put into place right away. And what that means is that your time will be more effective.
That's
That's
right.
what we do. We give you shortcuts.
So we invite you to check out the Major Gift Bootcamp Camp. It starts September 1st, so you've got time to think about it. And so let's go back. Let's go back. I'm going to bless and release our small word from sponsor, and let's talk a little bit more about how portfolio management strategies, because we also see we've worked with colleges, independent schools, hospitals, you name it, across the social service, arts organizations, environmental organizations, and people are confused and sometimes I think the word is overwhelmed.
Mhm.
The fact that you maybe have 150 prospects in your portfolio or prospects that you're trying to work in some way, and it's physically impossible to really build relationships with 150 people. Right, Kathryn?
Right. You can't do it, not simultaneously. No. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier. You really have to create a prioritization for yourself. I mean, Gail likes it, and we use it some with clients, kind of hot, warm, and cold scale. There's different ways that work for different people. So keep in mind, this is one of the things in our boot camp that we're going to do is really focus in what works for each major gift officer. Everyone has a little bit different style, but the key is you have to have a prioritization scheme for your work. You can't just randomly come in and look at the entire list of 150 people or whatever your portfolio is and say, oh, I think I'll just work with this random person today. So no, you really have to organize your portfolio and like, who do you think, again, you prioritize those that you're going to have gift conversations with sooner than later. They're important because, you have to have many touches to move forward that conversation, talking about the gift, and you have post negotiation conversations, all of that goes on. Takes up a little bit of your time, but it's meaningful and it has results. And then you kind of work down who are you cultivating, and what kind of things need to happen, what level of activity, who's in post gift stewardship, what level of activity is not as frequent as the ones in near term solicitation. And then of course, what I was talking about a minute ago, you'll always have some people in qualification because you want to keep your portfolio fluid. This is really important. What we see a lot is people get stuck with a portfolio. People are not major gift prospects, or they're not really engaging, but they're still assigned for whatever reason. They need to be out. And so if that's happening, you really need to do a strong portfolio analysis on what is working and what isn't working in your portfolio.
I would suggest looking at your portfolio and maybe delineating between the suspects and the prospects.
Mm-hmm.
So we see people with suspects assigned to them. And what do you do with suspects? You take them through a discovery and qualification process. And like Kathryn was saying earlier, if they do not appear to have potential, we love them. We love them a lot because they're donors. But you have a financial goal, and you only have, as Kathryn also mentioned, only limited time. So you're going to have to prioritize, and you put the people who are suspects over there for discovery calls. Some organizations are larger and they have major gift officers simply assigned to discovery. You may not have that luxury. You need to learn your discovery and qualification skills, and you can even apply them. What do you think, Kathryn? Even for prospects that you identify as highly active, ready to be interested, you still have to keep asking them check-in questions.
Absolutely. I mean, again, this is not static or transactional in any way, shape, or form. And one of the we would say this about all of our fundraising strategies to some level, but if you really want to think about what major gift fundraising, that as a strategy really focuses on, it's 100% focused on the donor.
It's
And
not
so this is,
or your
it's
elevator
not
speech or your case for support. It's all about the donor, and the skills to work directly with donors are, I think, maybe the hardest skills to develop. When I was a frontline fundraiser years ago at UNC Chapel Hill at the Kingdom Flagler Business School, I wish I had had some of these questions and some of these skills. I was just thrown into it, like, started at Duke and then went to Carolina, and there wasn't a lot of training.
Mm-mm. There was no training. I was same. I mean, it's like I had to think about what it was like when I sold Girl Scout cookies. So, seriously, and because there wasn't any kind of training to be a major gift officer, I had none. So, because I was the same kind of path Gail had with her career. and the beauty again of engaging in really good training and working with a consultant is these kind of shortcuts and opportunities that we're able to provide you, and that's really, really important, I think. And because a lot of kind of misinformation, if you will, kind of floats into what we think we're supposed to be doing, but we're not sure what we're supposed to be doing. But again, I want to go back and say, being the major gift officer, really being organized and working your, I say it this way, I hope I've never said this aloud to an audience, but I'm gonna say, other than clients, I have said this: when you're doing your organization work, okay, not in front of the donor, you're working on kind of prioritizing your portfolio, managing your time, and do this kind of thing. That is where you are cold and ruthless.
Oh,
Seriously. You really you just cannot be, I'm so attached to this person, I got to keep them. And they're not a major gift
yeah.
prospect,
And
and they're not
one
going to
day
see
they're
you.
going to return my phone call. One day
Right.
I know they are.
And I'll tell you a little hint: the donor's not at home wondering why you're not calling them. Seriously, they're not thinking about it. So organizing and keeping your portfolio full of active, really strong potential prospects is your objective. It takes time and it takes, your organization, but to do so, cold and ruthless. Over
Yep.
here, okay, I got one more, the other side of this.
Warm and fuzzy, warm and fuzzy.
It is warm and fuzzy. So the warm and fuzzy is where you're having these lovely conversations with your donors and moving those relationships forward and getting to the gift conversation. That's when the warm and fuzzy gift officer shows up. So that's my theory.
Both sides of your brain work. You're analytical, cold and ruthless, and you're warm and fuzzy.
Right.
And so with that happy idea, we are going to sign off for today and wish you a happy Wednesday. If you are around the world or in the US or Canada or Mexico watching us, and we're happy to answer your questions. If you want to send us a question on the chat or the comments under LinkedIn Live, we invite you to check out the Major Gift Boot Camp this fall. It's brand new, and people are signing up like crazy. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. People are ready for this training. So Kathryn, you have a great